Hello everyone, and welcome back to Wadjet Wednesday. We're continuing our playthrough of Technobabylon. We escaped from the prison as the poor girl, and we were asked by seemingly the boss of the whole region to investigate our partner because it appears that he's gone and murdered the guy that was blackmailing him. But they don't quite think that it's fully true.
Till the AI lab have had their turn analyzing her. Then she's all mine.
What items do we have? Wetware, jolt gun, traveler. We've never seen her her phone call yet. Try and call him.
No answer.
Okay, what about... Is there new news? There is. Grey goo incident. Injuries 4. Cell firefighters have this afternoon been called to the Hart-Gill Preparatory School, where the out-of-control growth of a wetware culture has resulted in what is euphemistically termed grey goo. Principal Andrew Mtembe issued a statement on behalf of the school expressing relief that Cell has been able to control the outbreak before more damage could be done, and reiterated their policy against bringing wetware to school. Wetware, so called due to its gelatinous appearance, is the genericized term for a number of nanomechanical products derived from organic structures. Safeguards are in place in commercial wetware to ensure that replication of the material can only occur within secure factory conditions. Hobbyist engineers have, on many occasions, taken it as a challenge to breach wetware products and reactivate the material's ability to replicate. Such uncontrolled growth becomes dangerous when wetware no longer responds to chemical signals to cease its reproduction. It is believed that tampering with a recreational product was the catalyst for today's incident. While the school has been closed for repairs and decontamination, Cell reported that 4 students have received minor injuries and are being treated for burns and contamination. City coordinators have stated that the mass has been deactivated and poses no further threat to lives or property within Newton. Sports match. A lower UV index tomorrow. Okay. Can we use our computer? Sure, power it on. This is just the same. But we do have new emails. Dr. Lau, as authorized by the City Systems Administrator, please find access to the investigations case enclosed. If you wish to discuss the case in person, please make an appointment beforehand. By Galatea. There's an email from him with no subject. Thank you for the summary of the so-called mindjacking investigations. It is evident that some of Dr. Reggie's talent in investigation has found its way into your work. Please be aware that you need not also emulate his less than helpful behavioral patterns. From the AI. Please come home. Max, it doesn't matter what Mum said. I don't really understand why you did either, but I'm not going to judge you. I miss you. And they won't admit it, but Mum and Dad do too. Please come home. Max, the city, that life, it'll change you, Eddie. And then that's it.
I don't even know where I'm going. I'd better download the case file Dr. Vargas's assistant sent me.
Oh, am I meant to trance? No. Am I meant to use
Wetware's
this in the
not going
terminal? Am I meant to... I mean, this is the case file. Am I meant to... Is there something I'm missing? There's no attachment from the... Oh, there is. Okay.
Ow! Hey, what was that?
Downloaded case file. This is it. Centralized emergency logistics. Category: homicide, breaking and entering, abuse of public office. Officers assigned: me. Outline: Dr. Adam Baxter. Personnel number blah. Was found dead by co-workers at the Vickerman Tatsumoto Telepresence Laboratory in the Northeast Network. Cell has been contacted and Case Officer Lau activated for investigation. Victims to date: Baxter, Dr. Adam, former organic computing researcher for City of Newton, recently paroled from rehabilitation sentence. Suspect: guy who we were before. Spouse of Viksha Regis, victor of murder by Baxter, was detected entering the laboratories and leaving an hour and a little bit later. He has become unreachable and has historically demonstrated a high anti-civil behavior index. With such a strong motive, his apprehension for questioning is a priority. So, the police have issued a statement saying we wish to eliminate him from our inquiries. Said with such powerful air quotes that it makes it clear that we believe he's guilty as all hell. I've been assigned to investigate the crime scene, and presumably that now means I'm able to go visit the crime scene. Yes. Vickerman Pharmaceutical Laboratories.
Wow, that's a lot of green. Excuse me.
Great, they finally sent someone. You here to get the body out?
Yes.
Maybe. I'm Max Lau, cell case specialist.
No kidding. I'm the lab director, Dr. Zvidzai Chigwa. Make it quick, I'm
Good
busy.
Gosh, that name.
What's your role here?
I'm the supervisor for the telepresence factoring labs. Most of it's automatic. I just make sure it's all running like it should.
Sounds like a big responsibility.
It's a lousy job most of the time. TP is where management sticks people they don't want in public-facing roles.
You're not happy with it?
For the last few years, my career has been one disaster after another. I'm just glad it's plateaued into some kind of stability.
What's happened?
Can you tell me what happened?
Baxter got killed.
In any more detail?
When we started this afternoon, a whole lot of samples had been tampered with. We tried to call Baxter to find out what the hell was going on in the specimen bank.
And he didn't answer.
He didn't. Turned out the door to the specimen bank was locked too.
You haven't seen the body?
No, not in person, if that's what
So
you
he
mean.
might not be dead.
Got the camera feed online, but it was obvious that Baxter wasn't going to be coming out.
When did you last see him?
Guess it could have been Wednesday?
So he could have been killed any time in the past 3 days?
I guess, but it wouldn't fit with everything else.
What does this place
What's
do?
the purpose of this lab? Plant studies?
Yes and no. It's a TP lab, telepresence. There's a lot of research that's not exactly legal in some countries.
But in Newton, pretty much anything goes.
Exactly. If someone in the EU needs research done on something hazardous, infectious, or endangered, they send the orders here and we carry out the testing.
What sort of research?
Mostly we make new angiosperms from scratch. That's flowering plants to you.
Gee, thanks. Why would people want new flowers?
Sometimes it's a drug delivery method. The earliest commercial examples were fruit that grew packed with insulin.
Diabetes.
A lot of new wetware begins its life as engineered fruit too.
Must be awkward if they cross-pollinate in the wild.
And a legal headache. Part of our job is making sure the copy protection works.
Copy protection in plants? Ouch.
Who else works here?
Aside from yourself, who else works in this laboratory?
There's my intern, Martin Neester, operates the factoring line. If you meet him, it's easy to see why they put him in here. And until recently, there was Dr. Baxter.
What about
Tell
your
me about
assistant?
Mr. Neester.
He came over from Eurofed on a study program. He's young. I guess we're all like that in our youth.
Good colleague?
He's all right. He got on board with that annoying Maladist trend. He knows how to follow instructions, so I let him get on with it.
Is visa still active?
Dr. Lau, we do not employ undocumented illegals in this lab.
Just have to check. I'm sure you understand.
And what about
Tell
Baxter?
me about Dr. Baxter.
Oh, he was bad enough to work with in the 60s. As part of his parole, they stuck a governor in his head. Since then, it's like talking to a badly written synthetic.
You don't care for him a great deal,
That man killed Vicky. Frankly, he deserved what he got.
but you still work with him.
He worked for me. It was another part of his parole. Vickerman's management persuaded centralized government that his skills were going to waste in prison. The company wanted him supervised by someone who knew him. Hence, they dragged my sorry ass in.
What did you have him doing?
He organized the specimen bank. It's the kind of thing we could just leave him at for hours on end. Days, sometimes. Really, it could have just been done by the facility's AI, but I had to give him something.
Otherwise, you'd have to talk to him.
Exactly.
So he's been given busy work instead of actually useful things like he was supposed to.
You've got a keen mind. What's your take on this?
Hey, I'm not the detective, young lady. You know what I think? I think Regis did what they ought to have done 20 years ago.
Why do you say that?
Seems logical. We've got him coming into the labs on security, then we got him coming out an hour later. When we get here, we've got Baxter's corpse contaminating the specimen bank.
Anything else?
Well, something strange. Since we got in, we keep finding samples that have been tampered with. Looks like he spent his hour here messing up the genomes of our specimens.
That quickly?
If anyone was good enough to do it that fast, it'd be Charlie.
You knew Reggie?
You knew Regis as well.
Yeah, I was on a research team with him and his wife back in the 60s. Baxter, too.
You've apparently known him a long time. Does this seem like something Regis would do?
Oh, after what he did to Vicky, I'd have strangled Baxter too. I tell you, if he did do it, I wouldn't blame him one bit.
So she's incriminating herself?
I don't know. He was always kinda shady.
Tell me about it.
They made him do some real awful stuff out in the hot zones.
Such as...
Let's just say his escape led to a whole lot of people being jailed for war crimes.
What are you working
You
on?
seem preoccupied.
That obvious, huh? We found a couple of specimens that Regis tampered with in his hour here. So I gotta run through the catalog and dig out the backups.
Sounds straightforward.
Not when there's 11,000 samples to take. Oh, I could punch Regis for this. Though, I want to shake his hand for Baxter so it kinda evens out.
What's wrong
been
with
done
them?
to the samples?
He's used a customized viral vector to add huge amounts of junk DNA to their genomes. These are the
He's
last two I found.
duplicating his wife.
Medioflorens interensis and Linacia lawsonis.
May I have a look?
Do you think it'll help?
Just a hunch. Huh. Non-binary. Quaternary data string?
What do you mean?
My wetware systems are interpreting the genomes of these plants as sections of an audio file. He's used the DNA to store information.
You think so?
I assumed
It's
he was
incomplete.
duplicating
The two
his
samples
wife
only make up
plant.
a third of the data, but M and L, my initials. This can't be a coincidence. He's left a message.
What does it say?
Not sure yet. I could probably construct the whole message if I can find where he's hidden the rest of it.
Safe to say it's in the other plants he's engineered. Here, take this. You can sample DNA from the plants around the lab. If you run out of sampling cartridges, you can reload it at this console.
Thanks. How long would it take to sample everything in the lab?
Only a couple of years. We have over 11,000 subjects. You're better off looking for specimens that would fill the gaps in the clue he left.
So, how do I build more of the message?
You've got to use the sampling tool to get DNA from the plants around the lab. The sampler can take 3 readings before it needs to be reloaded. In some areas of the lab, the atmospheric controls will prevent the reading
That's
being
new.
taken.
Apparently, he wants me to find certain samples. I've got to think about where I'm gonna find them.
Darn right. We've got a whole lot of A right now.
So, you worked with Regis and his wife, as well as Baxter. Did you also work for Dr. Vargas?
That pompous ass? Yeah, I worked for him.
You don't care for him.
He was a competent researcher, but he lives for politics. Everything was always about making the world a better place.
And you don't think it should be better?
It's a nice idea, just not realistic. And what we ended up making, it was... actually, never mind.
Specimen
What
bank?
happens in the specimen bank?
It's where the samples of plants and growth matrices are stored. There's a huge library of subjects to work with, natural and man-made.
And that's where Baxter worked?
Yeah, it's not exactly taxing. I wanted to see what he could do since they put a governor in him.
You left him to work alone in there?
I'll be honest, he was not a pleasant man to talk to.
The message?
I wonder why Regis hid a message inside the DNA of these plants.
DNA's been used as a data storage medium before. Rather than on-off binary, DNA would be quaternary bits. Adenine, guanine, thymine, and cytosine. If he just left a message on one of the systems, though, or even on paper.
Then someone could have destroyed or erased it. Short of burning down the entire lab, they'd have no way to be sure they destroyed a message hidden like this.
Especially since he scrambled so many of the other samples as camouflage.
He needs to make sure it's found, and based on the layout, he wants me to find it. Have you found anything else with added genetic data?
As a matter of fact, I have. There was a batch of Orchidaceae isotria in the growth lab, and...
And?
Can't remember exactly which specimen the other was. I do remember that it had blue flowers, broad leaves, and very, very small fruit.
I might need to write that
Have you
down,
found
so let's
anything
ask
else
this
with
again.
added genetic data?
As a matter of fact, I have. There was a batch of Orchidaceae isotria
Orchidaceae
in the
isotria. Notepad. Orchidaceae isotria.
growth lab, and...
And?
Can't remember exactly which specimen the
I'm
other
gonna
was.
guess that these were
I
the
do
two
remember
plants
it had
that he said
blue
he made
flowers,
his wife's
broad
plant by
leaves,
mixing.
And very, very small fruit.
What sort of research were you conducting in the 60s?
You mean with Charlie and his wife? You might not believe it, but we were the people behind Central.
Central? The city governing AI Central?
The same. Newton was looking for a coordinator AI. Vargas put together a team, including the new Mr. and Mrs. Regis.
Nuke me. Regis never mentioned anything about this.
It wasn't a happy memory for him. He left after the unpleasantness. We finished the project a few months later.
Huh. Might explain why he hates Central's guts.
And lastly,
Why didn't the facility's CI detect Baxter's vitals suddenly failing? It's a potentially hazardous environment in here.
We were wondering that as well. This afternoon we noticed the monitoring system in the sample lab was in recursion. All hell broke loose when the CI suddenly realized what had happened.
So either you've got a technical fault with the software or wetware interfacing,
Which is unlikely given how much they cost.
or someone breached the security systems to cover Baxter's murder. That gives me more hope. Regis would have no idea how to do that.
okay.
Is that all?
For now.
Then if you'll excuse me, I'll get back to work.
Yellow epigeal plants. Can we walk sideways? I was kind of expecting there to be more stuff on the right. Red flowered tree.
I'd better not. If I start taking every single specimen, I'll be here for days.
Readouts. The console below analyzes DNA samples taken from plants. The screens themselves are volumetric projections and have no control over the process.
I have no idea what anything on here means. This is the kind of thing that'd take a cram course in trans ed. I've taken a DNA sample from it.
Well, let's just do everything that we can see. Learn how to use the reloading mechanic.
I've taken a DNA sample from it. I've taken a DNA sample from it.
So
Looks
red
like
is clear.
Regis didn't hide any data in that one. Looks
Yellow
like
is
Regis
clear.
Looks like
Blue is clear. And it's emptied the DNA sampler.
I've taken a DNA. I've taken a DNA.
Okay, let's check the things in this room.
I've taken a.
And then come talk to this guy.
Looks like
Ooh. So the second thing, which was the blue vines on the top.
There's some more. Looks like Regis did.
Yeah, I really can't understand it.
I'm going to need to find where he's hidden the rest of the message before I get any sense out of it.
Now let's talk to this guy.
Hi there.
Camouflage man likes to take a walk in the park.
My name's Dr. Max Lau. I'm a cell case specialist.
Nihilism asked you a question?
You're not making any sense.
The robot dramatically cleaned a screaming pile of biscuits.
Are you alright?
What time do we think we want it to be?
The heck?
Can I get your name?
An evil engine of desire wrapped within a rude message.
Okay. What's your role at this facility?
Nihilism asked you a question?
Uh-huh. What happened here?
Georgie promised a blow-by-blow.
I see. I give up.
A fox dramatically sat on a secret arm.
The quick brown fox? Can I sample the production line?
Insignificance could please even the most demanding follower of Freud.
Alright, I won't touch them.
Warning. Security clearance not valid for access to Growth Lab. Vickerman Pharmaceuticals thanks you for your cooperation.
I can't figure out what any of these tools are for.
I don't think we can use it on the guy. Yeah. Does not work on animals.
Oh god, what a mess.
What a mess, what a mess, what a mess. The rail drone is empty. No samples have been taken. So here's where we have to find Orchidea isotria. Except that there's nothing between N and O. Oh, sorry, N and P. Right, these are alphabetical. A, B, 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 H, K, L, M, N, P, T. But there's nothing between N and P for Orchidea.
Nothing unusual found on the body, Central. Estimation on time of death?
The climate control in the specimen lab is compromising your sensors. Ambient temperature is just above freezing.
Update, Central.
What is the situation, Dr. Lau?
Dr. Baxter is certainly dead. He's been decapitated, and not cleanly either.
His head has been removed.
More like destroyed. At a glance, this would be the most likely cause of death.
What is your estimation of the incident, Dr. Lau?
There's too much we can't say for sure. We don't know precisely when Baxter was murdered. We can't even be sure that this was the cause of death.
That is a fair assessment. A clearer picture will no doubt follow the autopsy.
Don't send in anyone yet. I still need to carry out a preliminary.
I understand. Continue your investigation of events surrounding the incident.
Understood. Lau out. I hope I can find something to get Regis off the hook. Nothing unusual.
What is your...
We don't know. We can't...
No,
don't say...
no,
Understood.
no, no, no,
I
no.
hope
The
I
same. What if I ask it to fetch them?
It's some kind of slime. Maybe I should just sample that. I've taken a DNA sample from it.
I mean, there's not really that many samples. We'd only have to walk back and in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times to do this. I don't mind brute forcing 6. Brute forcing 6 is very doable.
I've taken a DNA...
Even though I don't think this is the thing I'm supposed to be looking for, I think I'm supposed to be looking for Orchidea isotria.
I've taken a DNA sample.
But let's go try, and then 5 more times.
Looks like...
Nope.
Looks like...
Nope.
Looks like...
Nope. 1.
I've taken a DNA...
2. Dental fingerprints. The fact that they knew who he was. Walking around before he entered the building. Because this world has Big Brother everywhere. Everyone is watched pretty much everywhere. So they know who is who and where. So layer 2. Okay,
It
we've got it.
Looks like Regis. Looks like Regis.
According to this, he's been dead for only 2. Well, case. Good luck.
I'm going to need to find where he's hidden the rest of the message before I get any sense out of it.
I'm sorry, but we've found all 3 parts now. Maybe we need to mix all 3 parts together appropriately. So we need to mix this one. So it was...
I've taken a DNA sample.
Wait, was it red or the blue one? Shit, now I've forgotten. Oh, we can do this one again. So that I
I've taken
remember. And this makes me feel stupid for not noting them down, but whatever. So was it red? No.
Looks like
Blue.
Looks like
No.
Looks like
What?
It's
What?
the console first. I need to bring samples.
Wasn't it one of these? It was definitely this thing.
I've taken a DNA. There's some.
Yeah. So it's that thing.
According to this, he's been dead for only 2. Well, case. Good luck.
I'm going to need to.
But what was the first thing then?
I'd better not. If I start to.
So it's middle room, blue plant, and then in here it was row 2A, or row 3A, sorry. We'll just do that whole row again. But I think it was row 3A.
I've taken a.
I kind of just expected that when you had all 3 parts, like you would save each part
I've
as you
taken a
got
DNA
them
sample
and not
from
need
it.
to mix them together. I obviously would have made notes about which one was where. If I had have expected to need them a second time. Okay.
I've taken a.
Row 3, test. It was either 2, 3, or 4.
According to this, he's been dead for only 2. Well, case. Good luck.
I'm going to need to. Looks like
It's not A.
Looks like Regis.
It's not B. I thought it was A when we did it.
Looks like
Okay. 4. Wait, what? No. Where was this other... I somehow clicked it from over here. How? No idea. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I've taken a DNA.
4 by 2.
I've taken it.
And 4 by 3.
I've taken it.
And we'll just do the rest of them, because it maybe looks like I don't have to mix them. Hey, Omega.
This. He's been dead for only 2 months. On his case. Bastard. Good luck.
I'm going to need.
Yeah.
Looks like.
Nope.
Looks like.
Nope.
Looks like.
Nope. Well, row 5. One, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I've taken a DNA. I've taken a DNA.
And last one of 5.
I've taken a DNA.
Okay. Do we get the last part of our... Find 3 parts of the audio file?
Looks like.
Nope.
Looks like.
Nope.
Looks like.
Okay, and row 6. Which are the last ones.
No, we
Yeah.
I hope I can.
6.
I've taken a DNA.
6 by 2. And 6 by 3.
I've taken a DNA.
Unable to sample seeds or growth matrices.
Huh. It won't let me take a sample from this one. I guess it needs to have grown a bit first.
Well, we'll test the two that we can test. And then maybe ask the lady about the third one?
Looks like
I'm sorry? Those should have been the last possible places for them to be.
Excuse me, Dr. Chigwa?
Make it quick, I'm busy.
I tried talking to your intern. It wasn't helpful.
Oh, never mind that. He's got aphasia.
Isn't that treatable?
Oh, yes. He just gave it to himself. It's what the kids are into these days.
Crippling neurological disorders?
Yes and no. Maladism, they call it. They give themselves old diseases. It only lasts about a week each time.
And you let him do that?
He's not public-facing, and as long as it doesn't get in the way of his work. I figure we all did things the old folks thought were stupid back when we were kids.
How do I fix
I
him?
need to ask Meester about the tampered specimens. How do I cure his aphasia?
Well, you wouldn't really cure it. He doesn't actually have the disease. It's essentially wetware designed to occupy the Wernicke and Broca regions of the brain. This then produces the symptoms of the disease. That's what they're going for.
I can't wait a week for the wetware to break down.
Find a way to break it down early then. If we've got an emergency contamination, we use hydroxypyruvate isomerase. It's an enzyme that instructs the fabricators in wetware to disassemble themselves.
Can I get into the
Get into
airlock?
the airlock.
The airlock and the growth lab are secure areas. We grow potentially hazardous organisms beyond those doors.
I'm trying to conduct an investigation here. Don't make me get a warrant from Central.
I'm sorry, Central would likely agree with us. We can't just give anyone access to the growth lab.
Not even a cell agent?
I'd need a pretty damn good reason.
Yeah. Are there any other samples?
Found anything else with added genetic data?
As a matter of fact, I have. There was a batch of Orchidaceae isotria in the growth lab, and
And?
can't remember exactly which specimen the other was. I do remember that it had blue flowers, broad leaves, and very, very small fruit. Is that all?
For now.
Then if you'll...
So is that meant to have been the hint for this thing? Blue flowers, broad leaves, small fruit?
Hi there.
The Morrow system.
I give up.
Only one?
The growth matrix won't start.
I've forgotten what she said to do to actually cure him. I was too busy being
Excuse me, Doc.
Make it quick.
modestly grumpy at
I
the
need to
idea.
ask, how do I cure?
Well, it's essentially wet.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
then
yeah.
produces...
I can't wait a week.
Find a way to break it. If we've got an emergency contamination, we use
Hydro-
hydroxypyruvate isomerase. It's an enzyme that
Hydroxypyruvase
instructs the fabricators in
isomerase.
wetware to disassemble themselves. Is
Okay.
that all?
For now.
Then if you'll...
How the hell do I make some? Can I leave? Oh, that's terrible. Also, even if I like get the formula for this thing, how do I print some? Oh, we don't have access to the full Cell HQ. Well, that is at least nice in that it's constricting where we can go.
Dr. Lau, so good to see you again, my dear.
Not that we've seen Noodlesky.
You should have made an appointment.
Dr. Vargas, I'd like to ask you a few questions, if I may.
Certainly, my dear. Anything I can do to help.
What would you describe your role here as, Dr. Vargas?
This is publicly available information, Dr. Lau.
Now, Galatea, it is a reasonable question. For the past 18 years, I've held the role of controller of centralized government. I ensure that Central, our city governance CI, is functioning within parameters.
What would you say your political function within the city is?
None at all. The elected council formulates city policy. It is merely Central's role to execute this and ensure the day-to-day well-being of the city.
And it is Dr. Vargas's role to maintain Central's operations. Surely you're already aware of this, Dr. Lau.
Just wanted to get it from the source.
Sometimes our desire to remain outside the political spectrum has led to rumors. We are not, however, the
secret puppet masters
behind the government of Newton.
I shouldn't count you as my boss, then.
Dr. Lau.
Heavens no, my dear. If anything, we are equals on an administrative footing. Central acts as director for both of our operations, though.
How long did you know Reggie?
Dr. Regis?
Since 2067, he joined a research project of mine. He was a good man then, very principled.
And now?
I've no doubt goodness remains. Though since joining Cell, I feel that he expresses this solely through his work.
Do you know about his garden on Tier 42 of this building?
Ah, yes. I've been there myself a couple of times. Though I hope we can keep that between us, Dr. Lau.
What did you think of it?
It is certainly an
They
interesting
say they're not the
way
secret
of
puppet
coping with
masters
grief.
they must
Though
be.
that it has lasted so long is perhaps cause for concern.
What can you tell me about the
What
incident?
can you tell me about this incident?
Currently not a great deal, hence why you have been tasked with this investigation. Dr. Baxter has been found murdered in his workplace, and Dr. Regis was caught entering and leaving the facility by their security infrastructure.
How about a background to the case? A history?
Baxter has been responsible for the murder of Viksha Regis.
Charles Regis's wife.
He was caught and convicted, and until recently had been serving a sentence for the crime.
I'm aware of this so far, yes.
He had recently been paroled with the Vickerman Corporation as his sponsor. I can only imagine Regis's feelings on the matter.
He
Violent,
was
no
grumpy.
doubt.
But I knew Charlie Regis, and I know what kind of man he was. Justice is his motivator, but with his background, out in the hot zones.
You worry that this might have been his idea of justice?
Precisely. That, my dear, is why I need you to investigate this case before Central jumps to any conclusions to the matter.
You mentioned Regis's wife, Viksha.
Ah, yes. Vicky. She was a student of mine in the 50s in Buenos Aires. She spent several years working for the UN in hot zones around the world. When she had finished, she was the natural choice for the project I was just commencing.
He never really spoke about her.
They were very much in love. It pains me greatly to see a man so afflicted by a loss.
She was a engineer as well?
Yes and no. She specialized in organic computing, a field perhaps more closely aligned to your own.
Could anyone else have done this?
Though Regis has an obvious motive, can you think of anyone else who might have a reason to do this?
I shall be honest. Dr. Baxter was not an easy man to work with. There were many who disliked him in his time, though none I knew could call him his enemy.
You
What
mentioned
did
a
you do
project
with
that
Viksha?
Viksha was recruited for.
I'm afraid that's classified.
Galatea, how can we help if we block every question? It was a project that utilized the expertise of both Viksha and Charles. Essentially, we were studying organic interfacing and large-scale computing.
Large scale, as in city coordination intelligences, like Central?
On this matter, I can answer no further.
What was your opinion of Dr. Baxter?
As a scientist 20 years ago, he was
A lot
peerless
of
in his
exposition.
But as a human being?
He did not take refusal well. This apparently is what led to his breakdown.
And the murder that followed that.
Precisely. I have not spoken to him personally since the trial, however. I'm afraid I couldn't enlighten you about his recent state of mind.
I examined
about the
Dr.
body?
Baxter's body at the laboratory.
What did you find?
He's been decapitated, his head smashed in.
My goodness!
I've taken initial readings, but they're proving inconclusive, even time of death. The lab's environment is throwing the chromatographs. Once he's been moved to cell for autopsy, we should get a clearer picture of what happened.
Why
Dr.
did you cut
Vargas, I
Central's
really
feed
need to
earlier?
ask. In my office, why did you cut Central's feed?
That's classified, Dr. Lau.
I'm afraid I cannot give you a complete answer on that subject. But a number of factors regarding yesterday's network attack have raised concerns. Not least the timing. It may be that Central's administration has been compromised.
You believe it's linked to Baxter's murder?
What makes you say that?
You cut the camera when talking to me about it. You were concerned that whoever may have compromised Central would find out what we were discussing.
Ha! Well, I have no fear of the quality of Cell's investigative staff now.
I learned from the best.
This is
It's
a lovely
fantastic
office.
view from up here.
Isn't it? That's why I choose to work from up here.
And then
The
Galatea
only
complains.
part higher in Fulcrum Tower is Central's operating center.
You could probably see all the way to Mombasa on a clear day.
No.
I'm certainly aware of your role in the city, Dr. Vargas.
But what about your daughter?
Who is your lovely assistant?
Of course, you haven't been properly introduced. This is my daughter, Galatea. She fills the role of my administrative support.
I'm being groomed for succession, apparently.
Oh, don't put it like that. You make it sound so...
Dynastic.
That certainly is not what we wish to represent.
What was your field before going into politics?
I was a computer scientist and a lecturer at Buenos Aires. In the 60s, the government of Newton was looking for research administrators. It eventually transpired that this role in itself was a kind of test.
The city council was looking for suitable individuals to manage Newton's new CI.
Central?
Yes and no. It was what eventually became Central.
So, about
Dr.
the mind
Vargas,
jacking
have you
cases.
heard of mind jacking?
Excuse me?
I'm afraid I have not, Dr. Lau. What is it?
It's the case Regis and I were working on lately. A number of individuals had their brains flash wiped by a destructive copying technique.
That sounds most appalling, Dr. Lau. Does it pertain to this case?
Not that I'm aware of, sir. It might give someone a reason to frame Regis, though. Especially if they thought that we were getting too close.
So, perhaps Regis is a victim of attempted character assassination. To use Baxter as a means of doing so would be drastic.
Why don't you think he did
Why
this?
don't you believe that Dr. Regis is responsible for Baxter's death?
I cannot say for certain that he is not, Dr. Lau. I simply hold on to the hope that he is not.
He's left me
My
a message.
investigation has brought up an interesting find. It appears that while he was at the lab, Regis took the time to alter some of the specimens there.
Really? That is most peculiar.
Even more so, he appears to have hidden a quaternary data string in the genomes of these subjects.
What does the data contain?
An audio-visual message, but it's still fragmented. I believe that Regis was trying to leave a message directed at myself regarding what happened.
This is a remarkable find, Dr. Lau. Please, continue your work. This may clear up what really happened in that laboratory.
While I was speaking to Dr. Chigwa, she told me about Central. Apparently both Charlie and Viksha Regis were involved in its creation.
Dr. Lau, that's classified.
I believe we can trust her, Galatea. Indeed, I brought Viksha onto the project at its inception. She recommended Charlie. They were not married at this stage.
This is unbelievable. He doesn't exactly have a high regard for Central.
I suppose I can sympathize. It is an unhappy association for him.
Reminds
Yet
him
he
of
will
his
not
dead
allow
wife.
himself the glorious reputation and history he deserves as one of those who created Central, an AI like none before.
Thank you, Dr. Vargas. You've been most helpful.
Anything I can do to help.
Okay, so there's nothing else here? Is there further right? There is not. So this was literally just backstory area. Hey, Grocket. That doesn't really apply for this, Grocket. Finish the game would, I guess, be the goal.
Excuse me, Doc.
Make it quick. Is that all?
For now.
Then if you'll...
Warning. Vicar...
What is this stuff? Better trans up some data on it. What?
Oh, I was like, how can we when we don't have trance? Xenosporans Tizardi. One of the only known examples of extraterrestrial life. Tizardi was first discovered on Tizard's comet in 2055 by the ART-3 survey probe. Similar to terrestrial fungi, this is believed to be some example of convergent evolution and panspermia by others. In any case, its extremely rapid growth in Earth's atmosphere poses severe ecological risks. While it is highly sought after for studies, samples are closely controlled, posing an obstacle to research. To prevent accidental germination, the organism is stored in a growth matrix. Growing only in carefully controlled laboratory environments, it helps to reduce the risk that some have termed the most mundane alien invasion imaginable. We'd be taken over by mold. I was thinking maybe he hid some of it on the body. But now I'm bamboozled, because I don't think there are any more plants. Like, we've literally sampled every plant. This was one of them. Blue flower, broad leaves, small fruit. So this was the one that the lady hints about. The other one was one of the ones in the seed array here. But where is the third one?
It won't take a DNA sample from the growth matrix. Maybe it needs a bigger specimen? What?
How would I grow more of it?
The growth matrix won't start.
Utter nonsense.
All right.
According to this, he's been dead for 18 months. Well, case. Good luck.
I'm going to need to find... The growth matrix won't... The growth matrix won't... Better not. It...
Warning. Secure Vickerman.
Just trying to do some pixel scrubbing to see if it's something that we've missed, but like the only other thing I thought of, maybe it's up here, but there's nothing to click up here that actually takes you up there.
Sorry, Regis.
A physical photograph. The team. February 2067.
Nina, Adam, other guy, lady in charge of plant place, wife, guy himself. So this is the baddie that's now got his head exploded.
Regis is probably the only person I know who'd want his picture on paper. I guess defacing a digital one just isn't the same. Hey, there's Dr. Chigwa as well.
Purple-headed?
A physical photo.
Sorry, purple? This is the guy that's got no head anymore. You are misunderstanding, Noodlesky. This is a photograph taken when they were working on the building the Big Brother AI program. This is back long, long ago, this photo.
Regis is... Hey.
Yeah, no problem.
Got to wait till the...
Can I grow it in the wetware?
A physical...
We've got a new thing, though.
Regis is... Hey.
So we could consider rubbing our photograph on people.
What do you think of this?
Oh my. Is that? Goodness. Seems like such a long time ago. Project was just starting and we were all so buoyant, so keen.
I've never seen Regis looking this happy before.
He was a different man before he lost Vicky. He's always been a good one though. I still can't quite believe he'd have done this.
And if you don't help me, Central's going to hunt him down. Please, Dr. Chigwa, I need to get into the growth lab as part of my investigation.
All right then. I don't know if we'll find anything significant in there. If it helps clear Charlie though.
Let me in. Guilt trip achievement unlocked. Okay, and we needed...
This could be useful. Looks like a lot of cartridges for the injector.
Oh, I don't remember what it was. Well, let's go ask how we cure him again. So we can look it up. No, I don't want the... I was talking to the lady, not the desk. The lady.
Good luck.
I'm going to need to find... Excuse me. I need to...
Well, it's essentially this then.
I can't wait a week for...
Find a way to break it. If we've got an emergency contamination, we use hydroxypyruvate isomeric. It's an enzyme that instructs the fabricators.
Thank you.
Is that all?
For now.
That's what I needed. Thank you, Omega. Hydroxypyruvate. That one. And now we fix him.
Georgie promised a blow-by-blow.
Really? How interesting.
Beached questions, you injector.
Say that again?
Overpass, did you stick me with an injector? Now I'll have to get my aphasia rechecked. Not cool, man.
Dramatically cleaned a screaming pile of biscuits.
Excuse me.
Yeah?
I'm CS Dr. Lau. I've been tasked with this investigation.
Martin Easter. I've been tasked with the factory lab.
You work with Dr. Chikwa?
I work for Chikwa. I'm just the intern. Means I get stuck with all the lousy jobs she won't do.
I understand. I was an intern once.
So, what's CS? You a detective?
Case specialist. So, yes, I guess you could say that.
Cool.
What happened here?
Why'd you go and give yourself
Nope, wrong one.
aphasia?
Not just that. There are loads of syndromes. It's maladies, man.
Aren't diseases like that dangerous, though?
It's not permanent, man. We ain't stupid. Wetware nodes in the body create the symptoms of things we want, which you went and broke. Gee, thanks.
Sorry about that. In any case, they're temporary then.
Exactly.
What's the
I
appeal?
still don't get it. What's the hook for maladies?
Man, you old folk never get things like MD.
Old?
Most of these syndromes are diseases that are completely curable. They just don't happen anymore. Society says no to them.
So it's countercultural? An act of rebellion?
Exactly. Diseases like that make the establishment uncomfortable. They don't want it to be a part of their society. But we show them they can't ever get rid of it completely.
You're rubbing their faces in it then.
And in another way, it's kinda retro. Illnesses like that are what shape society. The Black Death made Europe what it is.
Gotta appreciate the classics.
For a lot of us, it's also about who's hardest.
Ay, ay,
Causes
ay.
go for little things like botulism or influenza. But you know someone's got real nose on them if they can stand a month with HIV.
What other diseases have you
What other
tried?
diseases have you tried?
Loads of them. Parkinson's, syphilis, tuberculosis. Last month, it was Hansen's disease.
Lupus?
Wait,
Did he try
leprosy?
lupus?
Yeah, if you're a Zift, Hansen's is the real name.
Sounds like quite a selection.
That's why I came to study in Newton. Eurofed's just starting to get into MD culture, even talking about banning it. Newton's where it's at.
never
You guys
lupus.
are a lot cooler about
Someone
what you
notes
let
the
people
reference.
On an individual basis, certainly. That's pretty much the founding philosophy here.
Samples?
Dr. Chikwa tells me that some of the specimens have been tampered.
do. Oh yeah, I found one of those. Man, couldn't they have just killed the guy without messing up my work?
I need to find it. Which specimen
Yep.
was it?
Oh,
You got me.
of course.
Well done,
Brazilian.
Omega.
When I found it, I just thought Baxter was nuking it up again.
What did you do with it?
I just sent it back to the specimen lab. Should be there in the sample store.
How do you get
young
these
people go about getting
diseases?
sick these days?
It's a lot harder, but that shows it's a choice. We use wetware to create symptoms, like the aphasia. The wetware I had for that was programmed to lodge in the Broca and Wernicke regions of the brain.
So it's not really Broca's aphasia.
Same symptoms though.
You'd buy wetware nodes from shops?
Nah, find hobby GG programmers through the trance. They're always looking to sell. It's like a contest. They're always releasing new syndromes, competing with each other. You looking to get into it?
Not really my scene, thanks.
What do you have to say about your boss?
She's a hard ass, but she knows what she's doing. Kinda thinks she feels wasted working here.
What about Baxter?
What can you tell me about Dr. Baxter?
Not much. He only started here a couple of weeks ago. Chikwa dropped him in the specimen lab and kinda left him here.
She neglected him?
Nah, he just barely left. Could have been a workaholic, but I think he just couldn't focus on anything else.
Did he ever talk about his past with you?
Man, he didn't even talk to me, period, about anything.
What's
What
your
do you think of him?
personal opinion of Dr. Baxter?
He didn't talk much. One nuked up guy. Chikwa told me he'd been released from jail. Looked like he had a governor in his head.
That's correct. It affected his behavior?
Dude, that's an understatement. That Malkin was like a zombie. One time, I dropped the whole sample tray in his lab. Anyone else would have yelled at me. He started to get mad, then looked just about ready to puke.
The governor inhibited violent thought. He'd been serving a murder sentence.
Oh, no way. Who'd he whack?
That's confidential.
Man, that's unfair. You're a
Tease. What happened
I'd like
here?
to hear from you what happened.
So, we came in this afternoon for the late shift, right? I check on the factoring line, and it turns out the specimens are nuked up.
In what sense?
They don't match the catalog anymore. Not that they're supposed to be. I figured Baxter nuked it up again, so I checked the feed.
That's when you found the body?
Yeah, but Chigwa won't let me get a look. Told me to get back to work while she called Sal. Hey, can I get a look at the body with you?
I'm afraid not. Official procedure and stuff.
Bummer.
And one last reminder of which is the other
Remind me,
plant.
what was that specimen you found?
Jeez, what are you, senile? It was a Corsae brasileira.
A Corsae Zera Brasileira. A Corsae Brasileira. Thank you.
Alright, I'll let you get back to your job.
Uh-huh.
So that was how I was meant to find the one that I brute forced in here. Okay, so it was 2 by 1. Anyway, that only gives us 2 of the bits. And he didn't actually have anything useful except for how to avoid brute forcing that. So presumably there is yet another clue in here somewhere. Or the ability to grow this
The growth
thing.
matrix won't start in that.
Okay. No, I want the sampler. Blue.
I've taken a DNA.
Red.
I've taken a
Can we load up that one?
There. I've planted the. Let's hope I got Mom's green fingers.
Now can I sample it?
I don't think I can plant that.
Control panel. Do growing. No idea. I'd hoped that clicking the control panel would just be like, do you want to grow it? Well, let's do this one.
I've taken a DNA.
Go test these, come back, see if it's grown when we come back. And there's also one more plant on the very end that we can check.
Looks
Nope.
like Looks
Nope.
like
No, I just started late
Looks
today.
like Regis did.
Omega weapon. My sleeping is a bit screwed up from the match. From the match the other day. It's okay. Oh, it has grown. Sample xenofungus.
I've taken a D.
And
Hope it doesn't grow.
this thing.
I've taken a DNA sample from it. Apparently
Okay.
this lab is... Eesh, no wonder this stuff's labeled eco-hazard. Give it a few weeks, it could probably eat the whole planet.
Do we maybe want to tell anyone that we've made this problem? Let's try talking to Dr. Chigwa.
Warning, copyright breach in progress.
Excuse me?
You are not authorized to remove Orchidaceae isotria samples from the growth lab. They are copyrighted property of Typho Labs GmbH. Beginning purge.
Hey, my sample! What did you do?
To prevent theft of intellectual property, gene sequences in your possession have been neutralized. Have a nice day.
Gee, thanks.
Huh. What if we only get the sample for the Xeno thing?
I've taken a DNA sample.
Oh, it didn't erase all of them. It only erased... You thought the gas would be more nefarious? These games haven't tended to be Sierra-y in that they just will, like, kill you. Which is nice. Although that is perhaps a timely time to make another save.
According to this, he's been dead for 8 months in the hospital. Well case. Baxter, good luck.
I'm going to need to...
Aha!
Yes! Yes!
According to this, he's been dead for 8 months in the hospital. Well case. Baxter, good luck.
I'm going to need to find where he's hidden the rest of the message before I get any sense out of it.
Okay, so it's presumably in the one that the thing is purging when we try and exit.
Excuse me, Doctor.
Make it quick. Is that all?
For now.
Then if you'll
So how are we gonna get it out of here?
Nothing happened. Wetware's not going... Wetware's... Wetware's...
Ah, UV lighting. Where is it? I saw it say UV lighting. Give it back.
Huh? Wetware's not going...
Shoot the lighting.
As much as I love shocking things,
I don't know then.
Oops.
Now does it do something?
Nothing happened.
What has fiddling with this pipes done?
I don't know what's in them, but they look important. I've taken a DNA. I've taken it. Apparently, this lab is.
I mean, the only thing I can do is hope that once the pipes are cleaned, it can't erase our DNA samples.
Warning, copyright breach in progress.
Excuse me?
You are not authorized to remove your copy.
Hey, my sam. What did you do?
To prevent gene sequences. Have a nice.
Chief.
Are there pipes somewhere else that we can screw with? Yes.
Hey, don't touch the valve. Who do you think Dr. Chigwa makes fix them when they burst?
All right, I won't touch them.
Do I tell her that the pipes are burst to get him to leave to burst the pipes here?
I can't figure. Excuse me.
Make it.
So,
You've got to use the sampler in some.
apparently he wants me to. I've got.
Darn right.
Have you found?
There was a batch of.
And?
I do remember that it had broad and very. Is that all?
For now.
Then if you'll.
Nope.
I have no. This is the.
Maybe we can put him to sleep and then mix with this? Because we do still have the injector.
Looks like a lot.
So my guess is we'll just try injecting him with each of these in turn, and one of them will put him to sleep. Just walk up and inject him with random crap.
Nah, he might enjoy it too much.
Okay, we'll try...
Looks like a.
Nah, he might.
The way out.
Hey, we've got something that we can test exhaustively.
Looks like.
I'm willing to test it exhaustively. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more.
Nah, he.
The way out. Looks like a lot of.
1, 2, 3. We're up to this one. I thought this was the one that we already gave him. Yeah, that was the one we already gave him.
Looks like a lot.
1, 2, 3, 4. This one.
Nah, he might.
It doesn't look like it's gonna work. A toxin for microorganisms. Can we poison the thing that we made?
I can't inject that.
Can we inject it into the pipes?
That's not going. That's not.
Why have we fiddled with these pipes then?
I don't think I can fix it.
I don't know what's in them, but they look important.
Why have we done this? Aside from because we can.
They've got these pipes everywhere.
Nothing happened.
Oh.
Nah. The.
Looks like a...
I think that's the one we're up to. Let's check. No, we're up to the next one.
Looks like...
Doesn't even say what this one does.
Nah, he might.
the way out. Looks like a...
I think it's that one. No.
Looks like...
Dracula. A natural anticoagulant found in vampire bats.
Nah, he might enjoy it too.
the way out. Looks like...
You can hear kids take it while trancing.
Nah, the way.
Looks like...
A fertilizer. Well, this is the last one, so we'll have finished. We will have finished exhaustively testing.
Nah, he might enjoy it too much.
He'll just enjoy it too much. There is no correct answer to injecting him more.
I can't inject. Wetware's not going to connect with that. Wetware's not. I'd better not. I've tranced too many horror sims. I can't inject that.
A physical photograph. Regis is big.
According to this, he's been dead for 18 months. Worst case. Good luck.
I'm going to need to find.
We know it's in this thing, but we don't know how to get it out the door. We know which one it is, Noodle. It's this one. But if we grab a sample of it and bring it out the door here, then it tells us off for stealing their intellectual property. And the overhead lights kill it.
The way out.
It doesn't seem to be a talking point with any of the people.
Excuse me.
Make it quick.
So,
You got this. I don't.
have you?
There was.
And
I do raw and fit. Is that
for now.
Then if you.
Not that we can tell. The steam pipe does not seem to do anything else. There's another one here, but we can't do it while this guy's here. He says, don't touch it.
Hey, don't touch the valve. Who do you think Dr. Chiqua makes fix them when they burst?
All right, all right.
Maybe we tell him that the one has burst in the other area?
Excuse me.
Yeah?
Hey, the pipes
Ah.
in the outlet.
Nah, better go fix it for me.
And now we kill these ones?
I guess these pipes aren't broken.
What does it even do?
I guess these pipes. They look important.
It doesn't do anything.
I guess these pipes. Nothing happened. Excuse me.
This way. If
How does him being here help me? Maybe I plant the sample machine on him and he's allowed to take them out of the room? Inject him with the sample? So I will put this in his toolbox.
You better not lose it.
And then because he is an approved, because he's a member of their organization, he has permission to remove it. So the overhead lights don't go crazy and kill him. He smuggles it out of the room for us. And this also explains why this box did nothing for us before, because we're meant to use it now. Okay, we should have our last part of the MP3 file.
Looks like Regis. Looks like Regis.
What? What? I'm sorry, what? Order of operations matters. We have to break the things and get him to do it again. It doesn't do anything, Noodleski. The paper isn't an interactable. Maybe I didn't get the sample? So let's break the pipes again. Summon him into the room again.
Excuse me.
Yeah?
Hey,
Better go.
Go get all 3 samples again. So it's 1 sample.
I've taken a deal. I hope it does.
2 sample.
I've taken a deal.
3 sample.
I've taken a deal.
Everything. Have him smuggle it out. Test them. Actually, can I just check one thing while we're down there? There's nothing behind the ladder, right?
I'd better not touch. I've tranced.
Maybe it's that one. Let's get him to do this once more, though, and then we'll test if it's the one that I didn't think was a thing.
You better not.
it's the DNA. I need to take It's the DNA. I need to take.
I was gonna play it because I clicked the wrong.
According to this, he's been dead for not anything left in the memorial. Well, case. Good luck.
I'm going to need to. Yes.
Okay, so it was the Xeno thingy.
Looks like. Aha! Got some.
Lau,
Finished.
if you're listening to this, well, it means they've got me.
Oh no, Regis! No, no, no!
But Lau, ignore anything left in the recording up to this point.
Huh?
Sorry for being so unhelpful with the message, but I had to be sure you were the one who heard it first. Everyone will be saying that I came to the lab well, for Baxter, and they might be right. Except that he's been dead since before I got here.
Yes.
We need to touch bases on this case. Meet me where we were both first involved in a case. I'll try to explain when you get here. Good luck.
Oh, thank God. You've got some explaining to do, Regis.
Germination 101. Achievement unlocked.
What the hell did you think you were doing? We need her alive!
I saw an opportunity for striking back at Regis, a kind of poetic justice.
At Regis? You've never even met the man.
Yes, but
You haven't offloaded Baxter yet, have you? Look, there might just be a use for your newfound vendetta. The tap on his partner was successful. She found where Regis is
It's
hiding.
Galatea,
An
I
unfactored
think.
element. Now, he needs to be removed from the equation.
don't worry. I'll kill him myself if it comes to it.
There's only so much of the city's resources that can be diverted to this. Find him, finish him, then return for offloading. Remember, I'm your controller, not Baxter.
Don't be so sure.
So I got out. I managed to find somewhere to lie low. But I know what Central's capable of. You can only hide from it for so long. Lau had better find that message before an aerostat comes this way. What the hell?
Ah, we're this guy again. It's a message in a bottle?
What the hell is this?
Thermal bottle.
The bottle is some kind of thermal container, about half full of thick liquid. The words, "Drink me," are stenciled on the side.
Well,
On the hatch.
let's do it. Alice in Wonderland.
I wonder what that did.
Can you hear me?
Hello? Who's there?
Barely, can you hear me?
Barely. I can't see you. Where are you?
In your head.
In my head?
What the hell are you doing in my head?
That bottle you just drank, it was full of wetware. They were programmed to construct a transceiver in the small bones of your inner ear.
How long does it last?
It's not permanent, is it?
No, it'll break itself down in a couple of weeks. You have bigger problems at the moment, though.
They found me?
Location's been compromised?
I'm afraid so. There's a strike team surrounding the building as we speak.
Damn.
We need to get you out of there. The sewer access on the factory floor hasn't been secured. It's your best chance for an escape route.
If what you're saying's true, I'm about to be outnumbered and outgunned.
Don't worry, you're probably one of the few people I know who's smart enough to get out of something like this.
Do you know me?
You could say that. Come on, get moving.
It sounded like there was some other voicing happening at the end of that line. It sounded like someone else said, "Guys." But that makes a sensible cutoff point for this episode. We have completed Plant Puzzle. And we progress onto Running Away as the Man Even More Puzzle. And join us for next week's Wadjet Wednesday continuation.